What's up guys, it is Chris here with another video for you guys. And the previous video we talked about how to shortlist stocks that you want to buy. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to get the best entries on your shortlisted stocks. Alright guys, so now we are actually going onto the charts. We talked about the fundamentals. If you didn't watch that video is going to be somewhere here in the link, top left, top right. Go watch that video. Now we've got our shortlisted stocks, and jump into the charts with me. And I'm firstly going to go through what do you need to see on your charts and what you need to add onto your charts. So for me, the first thing I add is the accumulation distribution indicator. This is an indicator that indicates the balance of buyer volume against seller volume. So that's the first indicator. Second indicator I want you to put on is the pivot indicator, the traditional one. I'm going to jump into the settings. At this stage, you can take a screenshot of this, but the type is traditional. I keep it as is. The time frame is auto, and the number of pivots back, you can change this to 5, 10, whatever you want. I keep it on a standard 10 for this exercise. The rest is all pretty standard. I just keep my pivot colors blue. My support pivots, I keep that green, and my resistance pivots, I keep red. In terms of style, nothing changes there. In terms of visibility, it is visible on all time frames. So that is the one. Then the second one is the EMA indicator. So the one I'm using is the 20, 50, 100, and 200 period. So once you've got that on, this is where things are going to start getting interesting, and this is where we're going to start looking for our entries. So first and foremost, we've got our shortlisted stocks. For me, this is Q2. These were the stocks that I shortlisted based off my criteria shared in the previous video. So the idea behind pivots, let me maybe just explain it very, very briefly. The pivot is considered the point of equilibrium. This is where buyers and sellers both feel they're getting a good deal when they are buying, and the short sellers feel like they are still getting a good entry point for their shorts. So on a weekly time frame, that is the only time frame you will ever be looking at for your investing portfolio. It is on the weekly time frame, and you want to be buying as close as possible to the yearly pivot. And why do I say it's a yearly pivot? Because this pivot level you see here on the weekly time frame only changes every year. So this pivot here is valid up until the end of the year, and I want to be buying closer to these levels, or I want to get as close as possible to these levels. In this case of this specific stock on the screen right here, what I'm looking for is some type of reversal pattern. If we're coming from a high, in this case, we made a high early on in the year during April. We are now pulling all the way back to the pivot. I want to see some type of reversal play here. We also have all of these reversal plays, continuation plays in our Discord. I'm actually going to have something pop across the screen here with all of our entry criteria setups. And the entry criteria setup I want to see here is the reversal buy setup. I will wait for a weekly reversal buy setup before I consider taking any long-term positions on the stock. Let's say, for instance, this stock starts pushing all the way through down to the yearly S1 level down here. Again, same thing. I will wait for a reversal setup from that level. As simple as that. And the beauty of this is if it comes all the way down here, you've got your 200 weekly EMA. That is also considered a very strong dynamic support or resistance level, depending on whether price is trading above the 200 or below it. So very simple. That is what I'll look for. Let's go into another example. Let's go, for instance, to Citigroup. So Citigroup also was on my short list for Q2. However, look at this. Never came back to the yearly pivot. Held the 200 weekly EMA, started pushing away from there. Yearly pivot all the way down here. This was the ideal level to get in. Obviously, couldn't get a position on this, didn't invest into this. Still, short-term criteria was met in terms of the fundamentals, or the shortlist criteria, but in terms of the technicals, never got my entry, didn't take a position on it. Let's go through one more. Let's look at Comcast Corporation. All right, so this one was on my shortlist for Q2, but look at this, guys, never got back above the yearly pivot. Look how my moving averages were converging close to that level there. Never got back above that level. Obviously now coming all the way back down to the S1, but check this. Accumulation distribution trading below the 200 EMA. For me, I use this 200 EMA as my indicator whether I'm buying or selling. Look at that, 80 below the 200, no buy for me, because it's showing me that there's more selling pressure in this market than buying pressure. Let's take one more, for instance. Let's look at McDonald's. And very interesting stock here, McDonald's. As you can see, I actually have the yearly pivot marked here. And the issue for me was we never got back above that yearly pivot. And then secondly, look at the yearly S1, never held as support. Now actually turned resistance and now back at the 200 weekly EMA. So even though fundamentally McDonald's made sense, was on a short list, technically we never got the confirms to enter this market. So that is what I'm saying. When it comes to fundamentals lining up, you need to marry the two. You need to bring your fundamentals and your technicals into play. And I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or whoever you think you are, there is room for technicals and fundamentals to be used in conjunction to make a very good decision, to get in on some very good prices on some of these stocks, and for you to obviously try and maximize your returns on your investment portfolio. So just to quickly go back through it again, we've gone through all the indicators. It is your traditional pivots indicator. It is your EMAs that you will be using. It is your accumulation distribution indicator. So those are the ones that you want to see on your chart. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go through your list, create a nice little short list for yourself, and then you can start looking at where you want to enter. Ideally, you want to be entering from the yearly pivot. If price is below it, even better. If your AD is bullish and price is holding a yearly S1 level, beautiful position to get into the market. And I want you guys to also please go check the Discord. We've got a beautiful set of entry criteria that we spent a lot of time on. And if you made it this far, you are obviously serious about investing and obviously serious about your investment portfolio. So please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe. Also comment what stocks you like to look at and what stocks you are invested in. Please join us Monday to Friday, London, New York. Trade live with us and also join our free Discord. Link is in the description of this video. Peace and love and safe investing. See you guys later.